All right, friends, welcome back to the Blessed Family Radio Show. I'm your host, Jared Dodd. Stay warm. We are freezing here in Texas. It is very cold when I'm filming this, but we're doing well. Butchered 50 chickens this week, so that's lots of fun. Got our cupboards filled with canned chicken soups and recipes. We're having a lot of fun. All right, friends, well, we're going to jump in today's topic because I want to honor your time and be as efficient as possible in this, but we're going to talk about dad's role in education. So often, especially in the modern homeschool movement, dads are often seen as just the principal, or they're just kind of the, provider. They're kind of like take the place of the taxpayer with public education, and the mom's the teacher. Now, definitely moms are very often, well, entirely, they're going to be teachers. Yes, absolutely. And yet, dads can miss out on some great opportunities. So first of all, let me just sell you on the fact that dads are vital to education. They cannot be replaced. Now, they can be assisted by others, but they cannot be replaced. Whether it's a public school teacher, whether it's a private school teacher, even mom, principals, youth pastors, anything like that. You can pull from different resources, but dads are key. Scripture says that the words that God teaches us as parents are to be in our hearts, and we're to teach them diligently to our children. That is addressed to both mom and dad. And dads, keep in mind, we are the head of the home. And so if this is true for mom, it's especially just as much true for us. It says, fathers, this is Ephesians 6:4, and it's echoed in Colossians. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. Lord, help me not to provoke my children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. And that's not just discipline as far as character. Character is key. Character is definitely the most important education we give our children. But this can involve academics. It can involve skills. It can involve manners, of course, which goes along with character. Dads are vital. When Solomon wrote the book of Proverbs, addressed to youth, addressed primarily, I think, to his children, he says over and over, listen, my son, to your father's instruction. My son, if you accept my words. My son, do not forget my teaching. My son, listen to your father's instruction. Keep your father's command. Keep my words. Give me your heart. I believe that's chapter 26. So this is a big deal. Dads, hey, Satan does not want dads to be involved in education. He doesn't want moms to be involved either, but if he can pick and choose, there's something so powerful. And I've seen this. I've seen the mother who is actively, passionately engaged in her child's education, but dad is absent. And not only is dad absent, but he's kind of doing something different. And very often, the character that mom is trying to teach, she teaches it, but it's caught. It's not taught. It's caught from dad. Okay, so how do dads get involved? Well, there's 2 initial steps, and then I have 5 practical tips. Let me get through these real quick, and then I'll get to the 5 what I think are very applicable things of this teaching. First of all, you need to embrace your role as the head of the home. We can't just say, you know what, yeah, I'm dad, but I'm not a very good teacher. I'm not a very good discipler. I'm not a very good shepherd. So I'm going to delegate that 100% to pastor, Sunday school teacher, and whomever else. You can't do that. Well, you can, but it's not right. You can make all the excuses. You can say, you know what, I'm just not good at it. My children would benefit more. Jared, I'm just not smart enough. My children would benefit more if someone else trained them up. Well, God would disagree with you. And see, this is where, well, I'll speak of myself. I am not the smartest. I'm not the best. There are men and women locally who could educate my children so much better than I do. And obviously I can pull once again from that. We can partner together. But this is why God puts it on me, because no one loves my children more than I do. No one knows them better than I do. And most of all, no one has been ordained by God as much as he has ordained me. I mean, it's kind of like loving your wife. How silly would it be for me to say to you, guys, listen, I know I'm a Christian and I know God has commissioned me to love my wife, but I just think other guys can do a better job at it. You would be like, oh my goodness, that's blasphemous. That's horrible. And on some level, that's what we do when we abdicate our responsibility as shepherds and teachers and trainers of our children. So step 1, embrace your role as the head of your home. Step 2, become a learner. And you say, well, where do I start? How about this? Relearn what it means to be educated. Allow God to break down the paradigm of education you have and build a biblical paradigm. Find out what it means to have a biblical philosophy of education. And if you want a short snippet on that, check out our book, The 16 Essentials, or The Essential 16 Qualities That Set Your Children Up for Success. And the first chapter is called Having a Biblical Philosophy of Education. It's a big deal. Don't have time to go into it, but I'm making a mental note. I'm going to make that an episode coming up because it's a big deal. All right, let me give you these 5 tips. And if you want other resources, I would recommend the books It's Good to Be a Man by Michael Foster. The most applicable book would be Future Men by Doug Wilson. If you have his app, Canon Plus, if you don't get it, and check out his documentary series on future men. It's about how to raise up boys. Or Man of the House by C.R. Wiley. We need to learn how to be men, and men educate their children. They partner with their wife, they partner with pastor, they partner with grandpa and grandma, they partner with others, but they are the chief teacher, shepherd, and guide in their children's life. Okay, 5 practical ways to get involved. I love this. I love these. Number 1, daily devotions. And you've heard me talk on this before. Daily devotions in the morning. For instance, today, it's Monday. Today, we read the Bible, we did Aesop's Fables, and we did memory work, and we prayed together. It took about, half an hour. Now, if you can't do that in the morning, understand you're up, you're off to your work. Do it when you get home. Do it at dinner time. Dinner time's a great time to do devotions with your kids because your wife's made this amazing meal. The kids' mouths are full. That means it's really quiet. Sometimes dinner can be the quietest time of the day. And so you push back your plate, and while they're eating, eyes fixed on you, you teach them. You read a chapter of Proverbs. You go through the Gospel of John. You read a book. You read a book on Gladys Aylward. You read Plymouth Plantation, the first few chapters of that. Or maybe you read just a fun story with them like The Hobbit. And you build strong memories and you get their heart and mind. Okay, so devotions, number 1. Number 2, character assignments. Have your children read about amazing figures who had amazing character, and then have them write a paper on it. Now, your wife can at home teach them how to write, or your teacher. This isn't just for homeschoolers. This could be public, private school as well. But say, hey, son, I want you to listen to this audio speech on archive.org of Winston Churchill. Or you can find his speeches on YouTube, I'm sure. I want you to listen to this speech about 3 times. It's 5 minutes long. And I want you to write some characteristics you see of how men lead in public speaking. 100 words. And I'll check it out when I get home and we'll talk about it. And afterwards, we'll go grab some ice cream or something like that. Make it fun. You have your daughters study the life of Susanna Wesley. You have them write an essay on what made her such an amazing mother. What were her rules for her home? Right? She came up with 16 rules. They're really cool. Check it out. The 16 rules, house rules of Susanna Wesley. Have them answer the question, what examples from Susanna will your daughters or will they implement in their own life? Oh, here's a good one. Have them read the book by Neil Oliver, Amazing Tales from Making Men Out of Boys. I love that book. And have them read about the Birkenhead drill. Have them read about the guy, I can't remember his name, who was trying to find a passage over the North Pole. It's a lot of fun. Have them listen to a sermon by Charles Spurgeon and write a summary of it. Give them something to do that's beyond more just textbook. Okay, just, here's a picture of Jack and Jill going up the hill, write a story. No, give them something that they are excited about. Okay, so number 1, daily devotions. Number 2, character assignments. Look, they need to learn how to write. Well, give them something cool to write about that they and dad have them read. I mentioned The Hobbit earlier. For instance, I have a son who I love very, very much. Well, I have 5 sons I love very much, but one of them that I'm thinking of right now and he doesn't really like to read that much. He doesn't like to write, but he loves the Lord of the Rings. So I'm like, okay, I want you to read this section here and write about this. Now he's taken off, and now we can talk about it, and he's enjoying it. All right, number 3. Ooh, this is an easy one. Supply resources. This is just Amazon.com, click of a button, or Abe Books, or any of those used books stores online, or a local library. You can do this, but just supply resources for them. Get your 5-year-old the Beginner's Bible and read it to him. My son Abraham, every night with little exception, we read from the Beginner's Bible. He picks the stories he loves. I mean, he's learning these stories. He loves Jonah. He loves Daniel and the Lion's Den. He loves David and Goliath. He loves the birth of Christ. Get your 7 to 10-year-old the Action Bible. Get your 10-year-old daughter the Little House on the Prairie series, right? Like Little House in the Big Woods. Get them abridged classics, which some of you think abridging a classic is blasphemy. I get it, but we do it. For instance, Job right now is reading, I believe, The Three Musketeers, or Jed is. Ruby's reading Phantom of the Opera. Pretty fun stuff for a 10-year-old girl. But get them to read books. Get them audios. Get them the Heirloom Audio G.A. Henty audios. Get them Jonathan Park audios. Hey, here's a good one. Get your family. Man, I wish we sold these on our website somehow. I wish we had affiliate links for them. But because I've convinced hundreds of people to buy these, and they're awesome. Get your family the Men Who Built America Frontiersmen edition from the History Channel. You can get it for maybe $20 on Amazon.com. Watch that as a family. Man, is that a lot of fun. So this is about just building a library. Something else we do, we have an app that we purchased where we can pull videos off of YouTube and put them on a hard drive, which is great because then they can watch stuff that's on YouTube offline, which is very safe. So we go to Prager University, which 95% of their stuff is very good. 5% isn't good at all, but 95% is. Or we go to Answers in Genesis, Institute for Creation Research, and we get all these videos. We go onto YouTube and look up Jason Lyle and the Mandelbrot set, I believe it's called, and we got all these amazing videos, and we build this library where they can just watch these videos and learn apologetics, learn creation science, learn how to think. It's really cool. So get them resources. Build a library of books, and then audios, and then videos. Okay. Number 4, projects and skills. A child who doesn't work with their hands and who doesn't see the fruit of their labor, well, they're not going to be set up for as much success as if that was turned around, right? We need to teach them how to work. We need to teach them how to build with their hands. And this is where you can really pull from people in your community. For example, my daughter Ivy last week went up to see her cousins, the Olsons, and she learned how to sew a dress. Now she's home. Today upstairs she was working, sewing a dress for her little sister. This Thursday, in a few days, she's going to one of our church family's homes for a sleepover. There's only one other child in the house. She's 19. And she's going to learn how to cook. Right? So this is about building skills. Everyone learned more about how to butcher chickens this week and about how to pressure can meals. There's so many great skills out there. At the end of our Essentials book that I mentioned earlier, we have over 100 skills mentioned. This is about, teaching them how to change a flat tire, change the oil, build a birdhouse, build a toolbox. That's something we always do with our boys, especially at their 7-year-old rite of passages. They build a toolbox, one of those old school rectangular things with the one handle you pick up, and we fill it with tools. Get them gardening, get them cooking, get them working with dad on his job if possible. It's a big deal. Man, skills are huge. Skills are lost. Most of the things that great-grandma and grandpa could do, we can't do anymore. Now, we also need to know how to do modern skills. How to send an email, how to responsibly research things on the internet. How to go to the bank and withdraw money. I talked about that in our last episode with Jedediah and his city rite of passage. Okay, lastly, this is the best one. Well, maybe not the best, but it's the most fun. Trips and adventures, or rites of passages. This is about taking your kids. We live in one of the greatest countries in the world for just going and seeing cool stuff. Take your kids to the Ark Encounter. Take them to Mount Vernon. I love Mount Vernon. I just wish I lived at Mount Vernon. Take them to the Grand Canyon. And you know, I'm doing all these big places. Take them to museums in your hometown. Take them to historical sites. Take them hiking. Take them canoeing. Just get out there and do stuff and let it be part of their education. Education isn't just academics, it's character. And you know, history and science are all around us. And so so is character, so is behavior. So is discipleship. Take them to Appomattox. Take them to the Alamo. Come on, folks. You know where it's at. All right, so in review, men, embrace your role as the head of your home. Become a learner. Learn how to be the shepherd and teacher that God wants you to be. And remember the goals of education. Education, the goals are not grades and diplomas, even though those can be necessary things to achieve, depending on what route you're taking in life. The goal of education biblically is wisdom, which is how to think, knowledge, which is how to learn, and understanding, which are skills. To know how to speak to people, to know how to have a conversation. Think about that. To know how to be a good conversationalist, to ask questions, and to take interest in others. To know how to minister, to know how to listen to someone. To know how to work with your hands, to know how to provide with your family, to have a good work ethic. Dads, you have a huge role to play. These 5 steps: daily devotion, character assignments, supplying resources, which I'm addicted to. The library gets bigger and bigger, projects and skills, and lastly, trips and adventures and rites of passage. Dads, your children, your wife, your home, God's church, this world needs you. It needs you to be the shepherd, the protector, the provider, the educator. God's kingdom is all about education. See, when we think of education, we think about school. No, school's fine, but that's not the epitome of education. Life is. Walking with Christ is. Education is from womb to tomb and beyond. So dads, step up to the plate. Don't abdicate. That rhymed. And be the man that God wants you to be. All right, friends, we love you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.